Hey, it's good to have you with us. Episode 32, Back to the Future. Why Moments Matter, and this time, it was a shoebox. I found it while cleaning a cupboard I'd been avoiding. The kind of cupboard that hides a strange mix of forgotten jumpers, half-finished notebooks, plenty of those, and actually, versions of myself I quietly outgrew. Inside the shoebox were old ticket stubs, a few blurry photographs, and a folded sheet of paper titled, All the Things I Want Someday. You get the gist, a list of all that I dreamt of back then. I read it slowly, almost afraid of what younger me expected. Some dreams made me smile, some made me wince. Most felt like messages from someone who believed the future would be clearer than the present. And standing there, shoebox in hand, I realized how often, we go back just to understand who we were and to figure out who we're still allowed to become. Today on Pivot Era Podcast, we're talking about Back to the Future. Not the movie, but the feeling. That weird emotional time loop where your past, present, and future selves all sit down together and ask, so, what now? There's something tender and heavy about old expectations. It's all the weight of it, I suppose, especially the ones tied to big transitions. After a graduation, after a breakup with the one you loved but broke your heart, after a move that was supposed to fix things, after a job shift that looked like a career pivot, but internally felt more like drifting, we carry this quiet pressure to honor the past versions of ourselves, the ones who believed we'd have our identity, purpose, and direction figured out by now. But here's what we forget. You don't owe your past self a perfect future. You owe them honesty. You owe them growth. You owe them the truth of who you're becoming now. When you revisit your old dreams, what do you feel? Curiosity? Shame? Softness? A mix? Whatever it is, it's allowed. So I'm saying, let's look back so we can move forward. Sometimes the only way forward is a gentle glance backward, right? Not to judge yourself, but to understand yourself. Your past self gave you a starting point, not a contract. They didn't know the heartbreaks, the unexpected detours, the new creative desires, or the slow evolution of who you'd become. They didn't know the world would change at this speed. That Gen Z work? Actually, for everyone across all generations, where we would feel like always navigating, a constant shifting ground, and at such an uber pace that creativity would merge with AI in ways nobody predicted. That's fine, but it's important to call it out. And to say that finding purpose would feel more like tuning a radio than following a roadmap. So maybe it's okay, necessary even, to update the dream. Let me ask you, is there something you once desperately wanted that doesn't fit anymore? And is there a new whisper, something small, strange, intriguing, asking for your attention now? Why do I ask? Well, because the future isn't a fixed point. One of the myths we inherit is that the future is a destination, a place we're supposed to reach. But really, the future is a direction, not a location. It expands as you do. It adjusts when you shift. It bends with your becoming. Your timeline isn't broken. Your dreams aren't behind schedule. There's no universal pace you're supposed to keep up with. Sometimes going back to the future means rediscovering the spark under an old dream and realizing it still matters, just in a new form. Sometimes it means grieving the versions of your life that never happened. Sometimes it means opening the door to possibilities you were once too afraid to imagine. And sometimes it simply means being here, in this exact moment, breathing into the unknown and whispering, I'm learning, I'm trying, I'm becoming, and that's just fine. So we should then consider this. I'm thinking, let the future meet you halfway. If you're listening and feeling that floating sensation, the drifting, the uncertainty, the imposter syndrome hum that tells you should have figured things out by now, I want to offer you something kinder. You don't need a perfectly color-coded life strategy today. Not a vision board that finally makes sense. Not a 10-step glow-up blueprint for your whole career, either. You just need one tiny yes, one small, honest direction, one brave choice that feels a little more aligned than yesterday. Because the future doesn't respond to rigid plans anymore. It responds to alignment, micro steps, gentle experimentation, and flexibility. It responds to you, showing up as someone who's willing to grow, at your pace, fast or slow. Let the future come find you. Curious, patient, open. Let it unfold at the pace of your real life, not the pace of your pressure. Cause the pressure will always be there. It's how you respond to it, is what will make the real difference. Before I end today's episode, I keep thinking about that list I found. Yeah, I didn't become everything that I had written on it, but I have become someone who can look at that list with fondness, someone who understands that feeling off track is often the first sign you're actually shifting into a truer version of yourself. Maybe you feel that too. Maybe the old map doesn't match the terrain anymore. Maybe the old milestones don't mean what they used to. Maybe the version of you who once needed certainty is making space for a version who can hold curiosity instead. You're just in a season without labels, a soft in-between, and that's where some of the most honest becoming happens. Thank you for listening and for being here in your own unfolding. I'm unfolding too. This has been Pivot Era, and until next time, you're not off path. You're just changing directions, or thinking about it. And that's all allowed. This is an AI voice-powered podcast shared by humans who simply want to connect across generations and normalize the art of starting again. New episodes drop every Wednesday and Sunday. Share it with someone who's navigating their own pivot or who needs to hear that beginnings aren't failures. They're growth.